So here we are with Computer Specialist. This is keyboard replacement of an Asus Chromebook. As you can see in this model, no keys are working. So the customer dropped it off. No keys are working. We previously reseated the cable, all that, and couldn't get nothing. So we ordered a keyboard / touchpad replacement top, and we're gonna now shoot a video of the replacement. Here's the replacement that we purchased off of here. So as you see, the keyboard is actually built in, riveted in. They do make keyboards for them, but just to replace the keyboard is a huge messy job, and it's not worth it's easier to get the whole top like that, and it's just never the same once you break those rivets and have to glue them. This model, as you see, is missing the feet already, so we weren't able to find a bottom for it at the moment, but that was our least of our worries. So you're going to take out about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 screws. These screws are all the same size, same length, so it doesn't matter which order you take them out. But we're going to take these out, put them on our pad. You don't have one of these magnetic pads. This is iFixit magnetic pad, or any magnetic pad is good. We can write on there. Very useful. Save you from looking for screws for minutes or hours, or sometimes never find them. All right. So once we get that, I'm gonna pick this and that, and we're gonna go in here, and we're gonna pop off the bottom on here. Depends on the usage of it. This one's dinged up pretty bad, so these usually pop off pretty easy, but this has a lot of imperfections in here. But you basically run this along the bottom there, pry it off, and there that goes. All right. So as you can see on this model, so all this has to come out, with the exception of speakers will stay put. Wireless wires are built into the bottom of this model, and then everything else is there. So first thing first is you're going to pop out the battery connector on this. As you can see, one of the main reasons for popping this battery out is to get the power off of there, so future going, you have no electricity going in here. These connectors are very hard. As you can see, it's not going to come out pretty easy. I don't know if the customer had this off before or what. I feel it's not wanting to come off. Okay, so I'm going to try to pop this back. There it goes. Alright. Slide the battery latch, so that latch goes backwards towards me. Stuck on there pretty good. Once you get that off, now the battery should lift up. Yeah. And now let's see, kind of, yeah. So that's all. Alright, so first we'll start by the battery. Take the battery screws off. The battery is loosened up. Put that off to the side. It's always good to have your replacement thing set up the same off the side, so you can just follow through what exactly needs to come off. So we're going to also start by the I/O board. So basically these connectors pop up. I usually just use my thumbnail. You can use plastic spatula. Definitely always use plastic in that situation. Just makes it easier and won't short or ruin anything if you slip. Alright, so this has 4 screws, I believe, on the I/O shield. Okay. Got the tape holding. Put the tape back off our Wi-Fi card, wireless card, and that board comes out. Okay. Also on here, you will have the screen LCD wire, which comes off. It has a thing on it. You just work this back a little bit. That pulls right out. So the tape holding that down. That's good. And then you get the 2 hinge screws. All right. So usually, what you're gonna want to do in this is pry it back. In this situation, I'm gonna put the screen right around there. Sit down. Usually on the edge here is good, but you can't really see in this picture. But you're going to take the 4 hinge screws out. So they're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Be careful on this last one. Yeah, if you set down the edge of a table, it's usually better, but I'm just kind of showing you. I got the touchscreen connector here, which I forgot to take off. Pull it off right now. It seems to tuck underneath the board right there. So there's your piece of tape holding that on. We'll leave that there for now. Okay, so that's all. So now on the motherboard side, you got touchpad wires. You got that. The last hinge wire on there. Get the Wi-Fi wires. Pop these off. Those are very fragile, so be careful with those. Get that. And that's going to be migrated. Some of these have a latch that's on the back side. So in here, you pop this backwards. Like I said, the key with those are, if it's very hard, speaker wires, just wiggle. If you feel like it's not going, try tugging in a different direction. You know, none of them should be super hard to get out. All right, this one right here, I'm gonna take a look at because this has tape on it, kind of blocking the connector on it. So let's see why. First one, it's like that. What? Let's grab this with tweezers so we can get the tape off. There we go. Our standard connector. Pause this to grab. It turned out this is a standard connector. This was taped. Totally alright. So we pull that back, pull that off. That off, that off, that off. And you got the motherboard screw. So that's going to be 1, 2, the heatsink, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and these 2 little ones are different, so you want to make note of those too. So when you put them back in, they're going to be going in pretty quick. So, but back in. But usually, what I'll do in this situation, there's a magnet there, probably for the lid switch. So we're going to pull and put these over on this side. All right, so with that all loosened up. And I believe we do have them all. one more in the corner there. So it's blocked. LCD was blocking my computer. All right, so that's gonna lift off over there. Put that off to the side. Now we should be able to take the screen all the way off from now. Okay. So at this point, now we have to swap over the touchpad. So let's pull the two touchpad wires out. Look how this is in here. Third touchpad screw right there. Looks like the touchpad has 3 screws. And once again, with these, they should come out pretty easy. If something seems weird, don't ever force it. It's probably just a screw you missed or a piece of tape like that. In any event, that comes right out of there. I'm just going to transplant it right back into here. That being said, that in there, tape back on, 3 screws. At this point, we'll just swap this back out so you can see. So these 3 screws should go in pretty easily. This back down the best you can for now. It doesn't have to be down. Alright, and then we get the speakers. So that came with speakers, so we don't have to move the speakers over. Very rare speakers ever go bad. Wireless wires are there, so that's good. Everything else is good. Magnets are there. LED charging light, I believe. So we're good. Alright. So first thing we probably want to do is put the screen back. The main reason is this was taped down under here. It's kind of like a strain relief type setup. So let's put that back under there. Kind of just put it tit for tat like it was. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to take the board. Really important, so when you're putting this in, you don't want these cables to go underneath the motherboard. Any of these cables, wires, etc. Usually good to leave them up like that, and then you can work everything else in as needed. Sometimes if you get one pinned under there and you don't catch it, you cause yourself a half an hour's worth of work and have to put it all back in. So let's make sure that's good. Make sure too that this is pulled and that this makes it into where it needs to go. I think we're good. More concerned about that. Okay, because that was kind of a weird thing. Alright, so double check our cables. No worry about that. So let's go start off with the 3 silver screws. So 3 silver screws go all the way up. Alright. One of the things that we do sometimes here, I didn't have to do it here because this one's too bad. If you have screws that are different colors, different sizes like that, take a black marker and mark those particular screws. You have this video to go back to always look at too, / take a picture of it before you take the screws out. Once again, we have the video to go back to, so we don't need that, but take a picture of it. That's good. At this point, I like to just do the screws in basically because we know there's all the wires are there, and then when you go to put the wires in, you got a nice firm motherboard to put it into. Once again, you just snug tight these screws, especially these particular screws. You know, strip anything on the motherboard, and there's no reason to go with any crazy pressure because this heatsink and all that's already on here. So this is just holding the heatsink, so it's not pressing down on the CPU or anything bizarre. Make sure the wireless wires out of the way. That's pretty good. That's good. Once again, should be the last screw on here, right? Alright, so now I'm going to do the hinges just because get them onto the screen. It's basically the same thing right here. Laying on the edge of it, the counter is good. Just be very careful with it. But you know, I'm going to do it this way so I can show you. But you're pretty much just putting the screws back in and make sure the wire is here inside there. Main reason for that, if that hinge goes through the wire or something like that, you know, you may cause problems right from the start, but also will long term constantly rubbing will be a problem. So let's make sure that's in there. Another important thing when doing hinges, don't put too much pressure. Don't try to open or close them you know, during the thing. If you look on the hinges, there'll be arrows. Most laptops follow the same rules too. The arrows show where they go on, where the actual screws go on. The reason being is, see, the bottom, actually on this model it's not too bad, but on some models the bottom goes through the screws there. So this particular model, not the case. So actually I shouldn't say that. Hold on, let's stand corrected. The outside, yeah, so they do. Sometimes there is none, you know, because they make multiple bottoms, multiple hinges for different ones. Yeah. Other thing that you notice on this particular laptop, we didn't do it. I don't know if it's been worked on or something Samsung does from the factory. You have these marks. Someone did the marks there. Once again, you know, if you're new to this, those marks are good. As you see what I'm talking about there, little markers right next to the screw. So basically, right there, so it's like marker, 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 marker. So basically, I'm gonna put a marker. I'm gonna put this on the side just to get. And these screws you do want to tweak down a little bit. You want to tweak them down. This has a lot of wear and tear on here. All right. So once we get the screw on there, now we can shut the screen. Once again, you still want to kind of be pretty good with this. You know, putting it down. I always like to put pressure on the hinge and shutting it because it uses the bottom as a brace, all that. So, but for the most part, that part's done. You know, make sure the wires are good on here. That's good. And at this point, we can hook up the LCD. Once again, this should just go on pretty smooth. You know, what I find with these are, if they don't go in right off the bat, once again, back it up, put it back in again. If you're going to use anything to plug these in, you know, sometimes the plastic spatula, you know, is the best because, like I said, you know, if you slip with it, don't do any damage. But these things go on. Sometimes they're going really good, sometimes they don't. Depends on if somebody messed with the machine before. Which with this particular model, you know, I'm gonna feel somebody was in here. So once again, so here goes. This is always the fun part. So we're gonna put the wireless wires back on. If you notice, they are, not that it really matters, but one side's got a black arrow, one side's got a white arrow. So you want to kind of put them accordingly. The key to these are, you just want to get them on there, and then you want to press on them. If they don't go on right away, you know, reseat it, retry again. Once again, the more these are messed with, the harder they are to get on. That could be based on if somebody was in here before, or just from the factory, if it was put together by someone that come off of there. But like I said, it's one of those ones where get them on, snap down, it's a piece of plastic. And if you heard it just clicked on, so that's usually good. Even when they're on, they don't feel like great, but they are, so you don't have to like press. Worst thing you want to do with these is press down really hard. If you ask me, they could have definitely, this is pretty much the standard, even on Apple and stuff like that. Me personally, I feel that they could have did a better job making those. But anyway, all right, so on here. So another thing that's always good while you're doing this. So pay attention to your screws over here. You can glance over there if you feel that you forgot some screws or you went one step ahead. Sometimes looking over there will remind you. I've put these together before, to get all done, to find out that you moved the I/O shield. So we're going to put the rest of the cables in. For the most part, most of these cables that have the plastic on them, the plastic usually always goes up with a line, and you just wiggle them in and snap down. Once again, you shouldn't have to force them at any point. Now you can stick that down, make sure that's down there. So now we have the I/O shield. Once again, something I usually do is put them in here while you have it loose, clamp these down, in this model anyway, and then you can kind of wiggle it in where it needs to be. Once again, if it doesn't go in for you, wiggle it back out, but certain models you can get away with that. Another thing too is when you're screwing down a board like this, basically you put most of these screws in put them in snug, but with a little bit of play until you get them all in. The reason why is sometimes the board shifts and doesn't line up, etc. Sometimes, as you see right there, like that one was a little offset, so we're gonna go. And at this point, we got majority, with the exception of the battery. So what I like to do is at this point, you can go check everything. So basically, check the connectors. It's good to wiggle them on. Get that on there. Get that on there. See that? We got the speaker right there, so that's why I double check. I forgot the little LED sensor right here. So this one's always the fun one. So little, gotta get it just right. This one you gotta pretty much peel back a little bit. Remember, this one's on the back side, so you put that in there, you snap that back. All right, good. So now, look over here, we got battery screws and bottom screws. So, at this point, we're going to take battery, and we'll put the battery in naturally. This battery, believe it or not, only has 2 screws, which is maybe different than this. All right. So this battery is just like taking it off. You want to make sure this latch is back. This is a little bit different than the average battery latch. So basically, this slides back, this clamps down. With the batch like that. And so once, make sure this metal's back, and you snap it down, and then you push that back, and if you look, it locks on top there. Pretty different than most batteries that we see. So what I like to do at this point is I switch my tips to the thicker one just to torque down the hinges, and then one little tiny turn, not get too crazy. So a little thermal paste there from. And at this point, this model, because there's no fans, all that, we should be able to fire up. See if we got the keyboard. Alright, so we're good with that. Let's get on there. Alright, that's all good. Yep. Next question. I don't know if we have good chance that battery could be dead on this, so hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Customers show up in a minute. So here we are. So we're gonna fire it up. Also get it to the open position. Turn it on. And the goal here is we'd like to see keyboard activity. There it is. See password typing in there. So the keyboard is now functional. So at this point, we're gonna hit shutdown. Okay. Once again, until the bottom's on, I highly recommend putting these screws down. Just throw the bottom back on. I think you get the rest from here. Put this on. And so I hope you enjoyed that video. This is pretty much how you replace the keyboard on, it's got to be more than just keyboard, is on a Chromebook C433T. And once again, the screws pretty much go back in order. But you can see the bottom of this. I don't know if you remember when I was taking it off, but it was very. I think where we're at, this was pretty rough with it. Once again, what I like to do with the screws is throw them in on adjacent corners far away, just so you kind of get it lined up properly. Two there, two here. Jump to the other corner, and you just put them in. And that's it. So basically, a lot of people ask, is there any way to diagnose the keyboard when it's bad? Usually reseat it. Naturally, if there was a water spill, has there been times where we did this and it replaced the keyboard and it still didn't work? Yes, it's very rare. But the I/O chip for the keyboard that's on the motherboard could be damaged, which you could troubleshoot. But at that point, but I'd say way over 99% of the time it is just a keyboard. They do go bad. We do a lot of them here. We've been in business 26 years and replaced a lot of keyboards in my time. Of course, back then it was a lot easier. Now they all come in unibody. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, like, comment. We're new, and hopefully by the time you see this, we're a lot bigger on there. And have a good day.